The hardest part of running my business? Me. Funny title in it. Sounds like a self-help meme or something you'd find printed on a mug in a passive-aggressive startup office. But let me tell you, when I started my business, I was buzzing. Fresh logo, LinkedIn announcement, 10 tabs open with words like scaling strategy and invoice templates. I was ready to conquer London's freelance scene like some kind of one-man corporate knight. Clients? Sorted. Laptop? Charged. Ego? Absolutely inflated. But 6 months in, I realized something strange. The late payments, the deadline chaos, the near love affair I had with coffee, those weren't the real problems. The biggest challenge wasn't external, it was internal. It was me. I was the bottleneck, the overthinker, the micromanager of myself. I couldn't delegate to save my life. I was allergic to rest and addicted to perfection. And all of it was quietly eating my business alive. Turns out, you can have the best business plan in the world, but if the person running it is running on empty, nothing gets off the ground. I thought I was the boss. Turns out I was the bloody problem. The early days? Oh, they were electric. I just quit my 9-to-5, escaped the beige hellscape of spreadsheets and passive-aggressive Teams messages, and launched my very own consultancy. The business name was Slick. The logo? Minimalist but powerful. Think Helvetica with ambition. My website went live at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. I remember staring at it like a proud parent admiring a newborn made entirely of keywords and stock images. I even had a book a free call button. Nobody clicked it for a week, but still, it looked amazing. I set up shop in a trendy co-working space in Shoreditch, exposed brick walls, overpriced artisan coffee, and at least 3 beard oil startups in the same building. I had noise-cancelling headphones and a laptop stand, which in my mind made me 300% more legit. I was waking up at 5:30 a.m. doing breathwork, journaling, reading Atomic Habits like it was the gospel. I created color-coded Notion boards, invoiced in crisp British pounds, and even called HMRC voluntarily to check something. I was on fire. Or so I thought. Lunches were either Pret, when I was feeling flush, or Tesco meal deals, when a client was just processing the invoice. Tuna and sweet corn became a lifestyle. I networked like a man possessed. LinkedIn posts twice a week. Business cards no one wanted. Awkward flat white meetings where I'd say things like, "Let's circle back offline." In short, I was building the dream. And it worked, sort of. The first few clients rolled in. A logo here, a marketing plan there. They loved my energy. I was responsive. I was on it. I was doing everything: copywriting, admin, social media, chasing invoices, crying in the toilets, everything. But I didn't see it yet. Didn't see how I'd built a business that revolved entirely around me. No systems, no structure, no space. Just me, fueled by caffeine and blind optimism, holding everything up with sheer force of will. The cracks were coming, but for now, I was flying. Or more accurately, buzzing wildly in every direction like a wasp in a jam jar. By month 4, things had taken a turn. I was working 16-hour days, fueled by caffeine, dry shampoo, and sheer fear of failure. My office hours stretched from just after sunrise to when the delivery driver says, "You again?" with mild concern. Delegating? Delegation felt like betrayal. If I didn't do it myself, how could I guarantee it wouldn't turn into a flaming bin fire? I trusted no one, not even the printer, especially not the printer. And perfection? Oh, I worshipped at its altar. A client once approved a proposal, said, "Perfect," and I still rewrote it, twice. Because I noticed the font spacing on page 6 was off. I even redid an entire client deck because the shade of blue didn't feel trustworthy enough. I spent more time tweaking Canva than actually making money. Everything became personal. Missed calls meant rejection. A slightly delayed payment? Clearly a sign I was a fraud and should return to retail. I once got genuinely offended by a client saying, "Great job," instead of "brilliant work." Like, what am I? Just great? The emotional pressure built like bad curry on a night bus quiet at first, then suddenly overwhelming. And then came the Deliveroo incident. I ordered my usual comfort dinner chicken tikka wrap and curly fries. The order arrived wrong. No sauce, no fries. I called the driver like he was my financial advisor. I actually said the words, "Do you understand how much I've got riding on this?" The man blinked. "It's just chips, mate." But it wasn't just chips. It was the last straw in a tower of unmet expectations, sleep deprivation, and self-inflicted chaos. I wasn't running a business. I was performing emotional CPR on one. I told myself I was just in the thick of it, that this was what hustle looked like. But it wasn't hustle. It was slow, spiraling sabotage in a hoodie. I looked successful from the outside: clients, projects, momentum, but on the inside, I was unraveling quietly, like a jumper caught on a nail. And I didn't even realize it was me pulling the thread. It was a Tuesday. Rock bottom Tuesday, to be precise. The kind of day that starts badly and somehow keeps digging. I'd just finished a massive project for a new client branding, copy, full digital strategy. Spent 3 nights stitching it together like a caffeinated Frankenstein. I hadn't properly slept. I'd been running on fumes, instant noodles, and blind hope. And then crash. My laptop froze mid-save. The screen blinked, went black, then showed that dreaded spinning wheel of doom. I rebooted. Nothing. I tried not to panic. Surely autosave had me covered. I plugged in my backup drive. Corrupted. The entire project was gone. I stared at the blank screen. My hands trembled. My stomach did that freefall thing, like I'd missed a step on a staircase. And then it happened. The meltdown. I cried. Ugly, snotty, hiccuping sobs. I slid down the side of the desk like some tragic stock photo. I wasn't crying about the project, not really. I was crying because I couldn't do this anymore. Because I felt like a fraud with a to-do list. And that voice? Oh, it was loud now. You're a joke. You're not built for this. Just pack it in. Go back to job applications. Find something safe, something normal. I lay there on the carpet of my little home office in Croydon, staring at the ceiling like it held the answers. It didn't. But rock bottom? It has one very useful feature, a flaw. And sometimes, that's where you finally learn to stand. Rock bottom Tuesday did something no productivity app ever managed. It made me stop. Properly stop. The next morning, I shut down the laptop, turned off my phone, and put an out of office on my email that simply said, "Back soon," sorting my head out. I took a full week off. No clients, no deadlines, no pretending I was fine on Zoom with my best "I totally slept last night" face. I walked. I sat in parks. I stared at pigeons and judged their life choices. I bought a notebook from W.H.S. Smith and started journaling, not the cute Instagram kind, but the messy, angry, slightly sweary sort. I wrote things like, "Why do I feel like a failure even when things are working?" And "Why do I only feel valuable when I'm exhausted?" And that's when it hit me. The real problem wasn't time or clients or too many tabs open. It was fear. Fear of failure. Fear of being ordinary. Fear that if I wasn't perfect, I was worthless. I'd built a business to prove something. To who? Not sure. Probably every manager who ever underestimated me and myself. Most of all. So I started making changes. Small ones. I hired a virtual assistant just 5 hours a week. It felt like handing my baby to a stranger. But the world didn't end. In fact, stuff got done faster. Better. I created a no-work Sundays rule and stuck to it even when the guilt screamed at me. I started saying no more often, to projects, to late-night edits, to clients who gave me anxiety hives. And here's the big one. I made peace with done. Not perfect, just done. I started shipping things with typos and lived to tell the tale. With every small change, the business felt less like a cage and more like something I could breathe inside. And slowly, I started liking the person running it again. Because it turns out, when you stop trying to prove your worth through productivity, you start rediscovering it in peace. There were no viral posts, no surprise investors, no dramatic before and after montage, but it got better, smoother. Not because I landed a dream client or found a secret formulano. It was because I finally got out of my own way. Delegation became my superpower. I let my VA handle scheduling, invoices, and those weird just checking in emails that used to haunt my Sundays. I started building simple systems, nothing fancy, just enough to stop my brain spinning like a dodgy washing machine. Clarity came next. I got clear on who I wanted to work with, what I offered, and most importantly, what I didn't. I stopped saying yes out of fear and started saying yes out of alignment. And the mental space? Glorious. I began to enjoy work again. Not just survive it, Instead of rewriting every sentence 5 times, I sent drafts with typos and, shockingly, the world didn't collapse. Clients still paid me. One even said, "Love the human touch." I nearly cried. I traded perfection for progress, hustle for health, control for trust, and somehow the business felt lighter. Like it could finally grow, now that I wasn't gripping it so tightly. I still have bad days. I still overthink. But now I know when to pause, breathe, and ask the most important question. Is this really about the work, or is it just me getting in the way again? Most times the answer is humbling, but it's also freeing. You know, I used to think the next big breakthrough would come from a new marketing hack, a shiny CRM, or maybe a 6-week sales funnel bootcamp hosted by someone named Brad. But the truth? Sometimes the biggest breakthrough in business doesn't come from a better strategy. It comes from a better mindset. You don't need more hustle. You need less sabotage, less overthinking, less perfectionism, less telling yourself you're not enough unless you're drowning in to-do lists. Once I realized that I was the problem, me fear, my ego, my need to control everything, I finally gave myself permission to change, to step back, to breathe. And from that space, real progress happened. So if you're out there wondering why things feel heavy, why your business feels like a treadmill instead of a vehicle, ask yourself, honestly, is it the work or is it me? Because if it's you, that's actually good news. It means you're not broken, you're just in the way, and you can move. Been there? Still there? Then you're not alone. We're building businesses, yes, but we're also building ourselves. If this hit home for you, follow for more real stories that tell the whole truth about business. The mess, the growth, the human bits no one puts in a pitch deck. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Because behind every great business is a work in progress human, trying their best. And sometimes, that's enough. Actually, most times, it's everything.